All right, thanks for tuning in to Leading Forecast, and we are still have our eyes down on what is still Tropical Storm Isaac as of 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Isaac was at 24.2 north and 82.3 west, with a max sustained wind at 60 miles per hour, moving west-northwest at 16 miles per hour. Taking a look at the current forecast track here of Tropical Storm Isaac, they do bring it anywhere from about Destin, Florida, all the way over to the central portions of the Louisiana coast. And hurricane watches are in effect. I'm sorry, excuse me. Hurricane warnings now are in effect from pretty much just east of Destin to that central point on the Louisiana coast, including places like Mobile, Pensacola, Destin, Biloxi, Gulfport, New Orleans, and places on west. And then, of course, we do have the tropical storm warnings in effect, places east of Destin there. So if you want more information on that, get on weather.gov, and they will have all the latest information on the watches and warnings. Going on over looking at the track here, we're going to stay with the tropical storm, at least as of per National Hurricane Center, until probably early in the morning on Tuesday. By 2 p.m. on Monday, still dealing with a tropical storm, but probably by about 4 or 5 in the morning as we get into Tuesday, we could see a hurricane developing or have already developed into the Gulf Coast. Going on over severe weather risk today, there is a slight risk down across the southern Florida peninsula. That's going to be for tornadoes as some of these outer bands from Isaac start to come on shore. We did have a tornado watch in effect for the southern peninsula of Florida. That has since been dropped, but they are discussing issuing another one here briefly, so we'll just have to see where that goes, and we will keep you updated on that. Here's the current radar. This is down across the Keys. We do have an eye trying to develop down into this area. In fact, if we go on over to the current visible satellite, there's some pretty intense convection going up to the west and the northwest of the eye, and this is starting to make me think that this storm could be trying to get its act together and really get more organized. We've really seen it have a hard time going through the Florida Straits, trying to get its organization together and trying to get itself back to where it needs to be. The big factor in this storm, there's two high pressure centers. One's out here out to the Atlantic, and there's kind of a trough that's digging into the central portions of the United States. This storm, Isaac, is going to go around the center of high pressure here, kind of around the high ridge that's built out here, and eventually as it goes west, we think this trough will pick it up and take it more northerly. The question is, how far west will it get? And that's why we do have such a large forecast cone on this storm. Going on over, taking a look at the forecast model spread, we've got model spreads bringing it all the way from Mobile Bay all the way over now towards the Texas-Louisiana border. So it brings it that far west. I really don't think it'll get that far west, but anything can happen with these tropical systems. Going on over, taking a look at quickly here at a couple of these or a few of these models. This is as we get into midday on Wednesday, I guess it is, or I'm sorry, early in the morning on Wednesday. This bringing the center of circulation, the eye of the storm, into central Louisiana as probably a Category 3 storm here. Swinging all over to the European model. This model brings it in as a strong 2, week 3, bringing it up more towards Mobile Bay, Pensacola areas. This is as we get into the early morning hours, I guess, on Tuesday as well, or Wednesday rather. Going on over to a little closer look at that GFS model we were discussing, and there's central Louisiana, and there's your eye starting to make landfall as you get into early Wednesday. Some very strong winds already would be impacting central Louisiana by this time. In fact, we could be talking 125 mile per hour or greater winds at this point sustained. Taking a look, this was the scary model we were looking at. This was the H-WRF, and this was bringing in 170 knots or 170 mile per hour sustained winds as this would make landfall right around the New Orleans area. And so that was a very scary model we were looking at earlier on today. You know, it's really, really hard to say at this point exactly how strong this storm is going to be. The conditions are really ripe in the Gulf right now for this storm to develop and develop quickly, and I think that's what the models are picking up on, but it has not picked up on the fact that there could be a little bit of shear towards the end of the forecast period, and as well as the storm has struggled a little bit to develop as rapidly as it could have possibly. So we'll just have to wait and see. This is going to be a waiting game on exactly where this storm will impact and how strong it will be. A couple quick notes here that have been issued Already saying people from Biloxi to Gulfport, to Mobile, to Pensacola, Destin to Panama City, Florida, you're already urged to make preparations or your hurricane preparations and possibly even evacuate. We'll have to wait and see on that one. And New Orleans has already declared a state of emergency in preparation for this storm. So if you're along the Gulf Coast, keep a very close eye on this storm. Hopefully we'll know more probably either late tonight or tomorrow morning once this thing does start to get more into open water. We'll see exactly what it does. Anyways, thanks for tuning in today. If you want more, you can follow me on Twitter at SwiftForecaster, and we'll put a link on this video so you can follow that, and we'll have updates all throughout the next several days.